Guys, right now there is so much confusion in this consolidation range of Bitcoin, and today we're just going to have a conversation. We are going to have a look at some on-chain metrics, and we will be pointing out some bearish and bullish signals to check what we can expect, or most likely can expect, right here in the price of Bitcoin. So guys, let's just dive right into it. And yeah, Bitcoin is looking very interesting. The volatility of Bitcoin is decreasing. Bitcoin is getting squeezed into narrowing patterns right in the price. We can see that we are getting squeezed into a declining resistance and the horizontal support of the sideways range, or the uptrending support of a ending with a triangle formation. Both is possible. I think the declining resistance right here is very important, very significant for the short-term time frame right in the Bitcoin price. But yeah, you clearly can see that the volatility is decreasing and that the price is being squeezed into a certain pattern. And if we bring out the momentum indicator right here, we have actually something similar, right? The RSI is being squeezed into a pattern, a triangle formation right here, which is most likely gonna break out next week, somewhere next week. Sooner rather than later. But yeah, the bigger question that everybody has right now is what's going on in the background right now with Bitcoin. Can we see a nice bounce from here? Is Bitcoin going to break out to the upside, or can we see Bitcoin losing the support and actually see quite a big of a drop to the downside? So guys, let's have a talk about that. And yeah, first of all guys, I want to share with you something I've been talking about before, and that is the on-chain metrics right here from William Clemente. He did a new update right here, and I just want to quickly go over this go over these charts that he has been sharing. And let's start off with the first chart. And the first chart is, let me read it for you guys, is we are going to take a look at this chart representing the net growth of users or entities coming on the Bitcoin network. And right now guys, we are seeing a new all-time high with over 50,000 new entities coming on chain a day, and that is quite bullish. That is fundamentally very bullish for Bitcoin, and it's not directly a very short-term prediction, right? If we are seeing more and more people, more and more entities entering the Bitcoin space, it doesn't really matter necessarily that the price of Bitcoin will increase today, right? But normally there is a rule in the crypto markets, in general in the financial markets, is that price will follow the fundamentals. So the fundamentals have to be strong in order for the price to rally, right? So right here we can see that the fundamentals are actually strong. The fundamentals are backing up that Bitcoin's price can appreciate in the not so distant future. So this is a good sign. This is a very good sign that we are seeing the entities increasing right here, even though the price is moving sideways, is consolidating, even slightly moving to the downside. So this is in generally a quite bullish sign. Now let's go to the next signal, guys. And this one is quite interesting. This is the signal of the exchange outflows. So guys, this week approximately slightly below 18,000 Bitcoin has been pulled off from exchanges. And right here you can see that he's sharing a on-chain metric which is actually showing buy and sell signals based on exchange inflow and exchange outflows. And right here we can see that we just see another buy signal, this green vertical line right here. And if we have a look at the past, when we got this buy signals in the exchange outflows metric right here, then it was actually quite a good time to buy Bitcoin, because every time over the past year we have seen nice rallies afterwards. And we even actually, except for this one, and even in the top right here, when we have a look at the topping formation of Bitcoin right here, then we can see that it has been quite accurately predicting the top. And the opposite is true as well. When we got a sell signal right here, most of the time that was showing us that we are most likely going to consolidate, or the price is going to decrease. We have seen multiple examples of that, and it is not an indicator where you should be relying on solely on exchange inflows and outflows, but it does give an image of what is happening in the markets, right? It does give an image, hey, are people taking Bitcoin right now from exchanges into cold wallets, right? Are they planning to buy Bitcoin for the longer term time frame? Are they entering strong high hands, or are people depositing Bitcoin on exchanges, which most likely could be incentive to sell in the not so distant future, right? So why else would you deposit Bitcoin on exchanges? And most likely to sell, and in another form it is also possible to exchange it for altcoins. But yeah, you know how I think about the altcoins right now. We are definitely seeing some buying opportunities in altcoins, but the moment Bitcoin really needs some confidence back in the price before we can see that confidence being spread over the rest of the altcoins. So that is something to take in mind. But yeah, like we have been mentioning in previous videos, a lot of altcoins have been presenting us with nice buying opportunities, which we have taken action on as well, which right now I'm profit. So yeah, that is quite interesting. But this is another bullish metric right here, showing us that the Bitcoin right now is being pulled off exchanges, it's being scooped out of exchanges into cold storage, into strong hands. And yeah, that is in general also a bullish sign. And again, not a bullish sign for the day-to-day time frame, but it is a bullish sign for a week-to-week time frame right here. Then guys, let's go to the next chart. This is the Bitcoin liquid supply ratio. I've been sharing this chart as well. This is actually the chart showing us that Bitcoin is leaving exchanges and going into strong hands, especially into wallets with bigger amounts of Bitcoin. Normally those are the strong hands, right? So that is also something bullish we are seeing right here, because that is telling us that smart money right now is accumulating Bitcoin, and that is something we want to see. We want, before Bitcoin is going to start a rally, we want to see the smart money entering, scooping Bitcoin out of the exchanges, creating this supply shock later on, which will help the next rally, which will be the fuel of the next rally in the Bitcoin price. Then guys, the next metric I want to share with you is the Bitcoin stablecoin supply ratio, which right now is at similar levels as comparable levels as March 2020, but also the end of 2018 when Bitcoin bottomed after the bear market during 2018. So that is actually very, very interesting that right now we are seeing stable coins are flowing back into exchanges, most likely ready to buy Bitcoin. Then guys, the next chart is the Grayscale premium chart, and this might be quite interesting because Grayscale is the option for the mainstream out there to easily buy into Bitcoin in the same way how you can buy into the regular financial markets, right? So if Grayscale is having a premium on the price of Bitcoin, most of the time it means that there is a high demand for Bitcoin, which eventually is bullish. That means that more and more people are interested in Bitcoin. The more people buying into Bitcoin right here on Grayscale, the higher the premium. So right here we can see that the premium is also slowly reversing right here during this consolidation period. So that is also quite interesting. And again guys, that is actually quite a bullish sign. Then the next one, we have the hash rate of Bitcoin. And yeah, the hash rate have seen quite a drop, and there's a lot of stuff happening right there. We had this ban going on, this mining ban going on in China, right? These miners had to move to other places. I think most of them went to the States. But yeah, we have seen quite a drop in the Bitcoin hash rate, which is technically a bearish indicator, because indeed the price is following fundamentals, and the lower the hash rate, the lower the fundamental of Bitcoin, because the lower the hash rate, the less security the Bitcoin network actually has. So the higher the hash rate, the more adoption and the higher security of the Bitcoin network. But right now guys, we are seeing the first signs of that we could be seeing a bounce right here. That's also visible in the hash ribbons. We can have a look at that later in this video, but this is not a bad sign. It's not a too good sign either. This is just something I wanted to point out, because it's also been pointing out in this article. It is possible that we are going to see a bounce from here. We are seeing the first signs. So I would say that the Bitcoin hash rate right now is slightly neutral when we have a look at fundamental and on-chain metrics. But we have a nice explanation for this, and that is of course the mining ban that we have seen in China. Then guys, this is another on-chain metric I want to share, but this is a more bearish metric, and that is also something we can point out, right? And that is the number of transactions in the Bitcoin network. That one is like rapidly decreasing, which means that there are not many transactions of Bitcoin, and normally that is actually a bearish sign. If we have a look at the previous time, we have seen a big drop in the transactions. Then that was at the top in 2019 when we topped at approximately 14,000 US dollars. And right here we can see something similar, right, where we had a drop in the Bitcoin transactions after Bitcoin topped. And that, of course, it makes sense that the higher the price of Bitcoin in the rally, that this will drop sooner or later, because when the Bitcoin network is having a lot of transactions and the price is increasing, then the transaction fees are increasing, the waiting time for blocks are increasing as well. So that is something to take in mind. But if we have to point out a bearish on-chain metric, then that is right now that Bitcoin, the number of transactions of Bitcoin is rapidly decreasing, which fundamentally could be a bearish sign. So guys, those are the on-chain metrics right now in Bitcoin. And I have to say, guys, that generally I still think that right now the chances of Bitcoin trending up from here are definitely higher than Bitcoin making a significant move to the downside. But we still have to wait, and I think you should be open for either both scenarios. And one thing I want to mention here as well is that I do think, and it is something to take in mind as well, that if Bitcoin were to break out to the downside, it is possible that there is a limited risk to the downside right now due to all these exchange outflows, which means that there is not much Bitcoin on exchanges. So in the shorter term time frame, it is more difficult to sell those exchanges, because we first want to see an uptick. We want to see if Bitcoin going to see a sell-off, that Bitcoin needs to enter the exchanges, which right now we are not seeing. We are seeing the opposite happening, Bitcoin being taken out of exchanges. So that's possible that if Bitcoin might drop right here, that we are going to see a limited potential risk to the downside due to the fact that there are not many Bitcoins to sell right now because they are not on exchanges. That can change, of course, if we are going to see those deposits back onto exchanges. That's possible. But you can see, guys, I think right now, if we have a look at the funding rates, then we can see that the majority of the traders and investors, but let's say actually the traders, because this is a derivative signal, right? The majority of the traders out here has been very, very bearish during this period, during this consolidation period, right? That is normally a bullish sign. And when we have a look at the smart money, then we can, and the on-chain analytics, then we can actually see that they are doing the opposite. They are not that bearish on Bitcoin right now. The entities, they are growing. The exchange outflows is increasing. We got quite some evidence that Bitcoin during this consolidation period is flowing from exchanges into strong hands. So this is actually the perfect storm what we want to see in the Bitcoin price if we want to see a breakout to the upside. We want to see the majority out there, the retail, the traders, we want to see them bearish, because they most likely have already sold their Bitcoin during this consolidation period, or maybe panic sold during this dump. That is also possible. They are already positioned out of Bitcoin. That's why they are bearish. And if the majority of the traders and retail has done so, then that means that eventually there will only be buyers left, and those people who have been selling right here will be the same people who will be buying into Bitcoin after we are going to see a breakout right here, after we are going to see the price increase, after we are seeing that supply shock being expressed in the price. And then most likely the people who have sold here or sold during this consolidation period are the same ones that are going to FOMO back in to this rally. So guys, right now I definitely have to say, I think we have to be patient right here. Volatility is decreasing. Bitcoin is on the edge of a major breakout. We are going to see it quite soon. I personally still think that on-chain metrics and technical analyzing the charts are clearly showing that the chances of breaking out to the upside are higher than to the downside. You want to be prepared for both scenarios. A invalidation for me would be a break of the uptrending support in the RSI on the daily time frame, and a decisive break of 30,000 US dollars with retest. That would for me be a decisive break, and I would be turning bearish on Bitcoin then, also because we have been breaking below the 50-week moving average. So okay guys, I think that this video serves as a little bit of an overview about what is happening with the price right now and what is happening in the background with the on-chain metrics, right? And I think it's actually quite important to see through this and to see it actually as it is, right? We right now are just in a period where the majority of the traders have been bearish for a longer term time frame, for a period of time, but the smart money right now are accumulating, and normally that is creating the perfect storm for the next Bitcoin rally. But nevertheless, guys, that's what I'm thinking right here. This is, of course, not financial advice, and I'm very curious about what you think is going to happen with the price of Bitcoin. Do you agree with the things that I'm showing right here, or do you think that the retail and the majority of the investors might be right here, and that we are going to see still going to see a massive drop in the Bitcoin price, or that Bitcoin is going to continue this downtrend that we are in for now? Guys, I'm very curious about your opinion, so let me know in the comment section down below, guys. Then I want to wish every single one of you an amazing day today. I hope you guys all have an awesome day today, and I will see every single one of you in the next video.